Hey y'all, it's Burgess Taylor from Journey with Burgess, and today we're going to be talking about what I'm doing and how November is evolving, and it's the 4th of November. I still can't believe that we're already in November. For a variety of different reasons, I was forcing planners, I was forcing journals, I was forcing sketchbooks. Everything, no matter what I was doing, kind of felt off. As I've been switching up things and going back to the Hobonichi cousin over the last couple weeks, I started focusing more on doing things, on getting things done, on showing up to the page and just documenting my life. Now I'm still using the B6 journal, that's this right here. I'm still using the sketchbook, as a matter of fact, this one that I've talked about. I'm still using the bigger one that I was using for sketchbook adventures, but I'm not forcing myself. There are no rules anymore. I'm not forcing myself to do it every day. I'm doing things as I feel like, and that feels much better, much better. I'm letting things grow organically. Whenever I have something to say, I journal. Whenever I need to sketch, I sketch. Whenever I have a need to do more of something bigger, something more, actually using the sketchbook that I was using, Sketchbook Adventures. And I'll go practice in it one day if I have it open and it's there. I'm not putting any rules on it. This small one in here is definitely more of the play and have fun. I think the big thing is that I'm using the journals and the planners right now in different ways than I originally had thought I would, because I'm not applying any real rules, because I'm just letting things grow organically. That definitely means that things are subject to change as things tend to grow organically. I'm moving forward with more than just my planning and journaling. With the barn to studio, we're moving forward. We have finished the insulation in the walls. We have a few things to tidy up with the electrical this weekend, and we are also going to be putting up the paneling on the walls this weekend. So we're going to be working on that. We're also going to be drilling the hole through the wall in here where my router is, so that my the Ethernet cord can plug into the router and go to the barn. So we're still doing things. I've got to call the phone company and find out about increasing our internet speed, but we're just checking into things, figuring things out. And that's what it's been about in here. As you can see, I've already started boxing up things. I'm going to be, as I'm talking, putting little clips in of different things. This is sort of a vlog, and I just kind of wanted to cover some of the things. As I am saying goodbye, as I've said goodbye, I guess I should say, to October. Okay, so let's officially say goodbye to October here. In October, my daughter turned 29. I had my 6-year anniversary on YouTube. I can't believe it's been 6 years. A lot of good things happened in October. My mom and my son moved here. We got a lot done with the barn. We made some very big decisions about the barn, like we decided on using sheetrock for the ceilings, because we bought this beautiful paneling called Weathered Barn for the walls. We found the trim that we want to use. I painted the floor red, and I'm going to go through and sand spots so that it looks weathered like a barn. Then I'm going to put a clear coat on it. Once we're done with the paneling and stuff and I don't have to worry about things, I don't want a floor that's precious, that I have to worry about things, because I've spilled ink, I spilled paint. I'm going to be working with all different kinds of supplies and stuff, but especially permanent inks, things. And I don't have to worry about being precious with the floor or anything. I don't even know if I might have a little rug right in front of the door, and maybe that's about it, maybe. But I feel really good about some of the things that we've been doing. As you can see, I have already started packing. I'm going to show you a little bit of that. I got quite overwhelmed with all of the things that I have in here. I got quite overwhelmed with all of the things in here. It is stressful thinking about moving all of this. And I was thinking, how did I end up with all of this stuff?
How in the world did I end up with all of this stuff?
It accumulated over a 6-7 year period of time, on and off, from the purple room into this room. I never really went through everything that I had in the purple room whenever I moved it into this room. I never really went through when we got the new furniture and went through things. And how I set this up originally was setting it up thinking of myself as a writer and a journaler and not really thinking of myself as an artist. So when I set up the studio, I'm setting it up so that I have a little area for my chair with my laptop, my journal, my little cup of coffee, and that kind of thing, and my books. So a little reading, writing nook area, and then all of the other. And I'm probably going to use the big Calex unit as a room divider because I like that idea. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see. I may not have to. We'll see how it goes. I may end up using one, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I may end up using the craft table. I don't know. Have other options. I have a smaller bookcase I may end up using as a room divider. But I have a lot of ideas, and that's what I feel really good about are the ideas. Putting things into use and practice based on what I know has worked and not worked in this room. So I also found myself humbled by so many family members and friends who have offered to help with the stuff for the barn, with our house, with the vehicles, just from advice to actually lending a helping hand to all kinds of other, I'm also humbled by my patrons and by all of you subscribers, by the wonderful comments that you leave. Like I said, October was my 6-month anniversary on YouTube. I started in October on the 14th of 2014, which was my daughter's birthday. It's an easy date to remember. So people who have taken the time to comment, people who have subscribed, old and new, some people have been with me since the very beginning of my journey. And I am so very blessed and thankful. And as a matter of fact, my theme for November, well, considering November is the month of Thanksgiving here in America, I think sometimes things get miscommunicated. They get lost in translation. And when you have anxiety, especially if you also have ADHD, you can focus in on the miscommunication or the loss in translation because you're not quite sure. My daughter, she talks about hyperfocus and different things like that, and sometimes you get hyper-focused on something and you're not quite sure how you feel about it, or you're not quite sure if you're focusing in on the right thing because of overwhelm and stress and anxiety. I've often, over the past few months, found myself focusing in on the stress and the overwhelm and the anxiety, and that got carried away with me. I got carried away with that feeling when I was looking at all of the things in this room. I really don't want all of this stuff to be moved into the barn. I don't need all of this stuff in there. This room kind of ended up the catch-all for all of the things that I might, and that's not what I want in there. It's a studio. It's a creative space, and that's what I want. Okay, so now to November. I wear a lot of hats, literally and figuratively. I absolutely love journaling. I love art. I love a good DIY project. I love being creative. I love learning. I love writing. I love watching videos about people's process. Like whether it's planning or art, I like the process of things because it helps me take a step back and go, okay, well, I like how this is, but I don't think that part would work for me. It helps me evaluate things on a different level of my own stuff. So anyway, that's where I'm at with a lot of things. November is, I'm going to show you. Okay. November is the month for me to notice the blessings. And this is what I've written right here. Pursue what catches your heart, not what catches your eyes, by Roy T. Bennett. Gratitude puts us in a position of having instead of wanting. Thanking rather than complaining. When we focus on what we already have and take stock of our own blessings, we get more blessings. What are you grateful for? Share it with yourself and others. And that's what I started YouTube for, was to share in the fact that I knew I wasn't the only one out there who was participating in NaNoWriMo and was older. I didn't really find very many people back then when I first started on YouTube that were older. And as I started my YouTube journey, I actually found quite a few people. And then I landed because of a tag about journaling, being a writer, and using your journals. That journaling tag led me into the journaling community. I fell down that rabbit hole because I was an avid journaler, and I've been there ever since. So one of the things we've got is I've been using this on a regular basis since the 26th, 27th of October. And I've been getting back into the practice of using this the way that I originally sort of started using it. And that's been wonderful. I've just kind of been getting back to, I simplified and I went back to the thing that I knew worked no matter what. And yes, I have the little to-dos, the little priority to-dos up here, but as I go through things, I think this is going to evolve and change. And the reason I say that is that I'm also using the B6 stuff, and I just needed to get back to, because of anxiety and stress and overwhelm this year, all of the family stuff and the life stuff and the barn stuff, everything, I kind of was just a bit overwhelmed. So I went back to what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt works. And as I forgot to do that. And as I've done that, I found myself feeling much better about things. I'm letting things evolve, and I'm letting things sort of grow organically, which feels really good. But that blue is not dry. I'll let that dry. But one of the things that I've noticed while doing this is that as I go through things, this is today's page. This was my desk when I was doing this. This is what you're seeing. I wanted to talk about the anxiety. It's almost tangible and breathable right now this year. So anyway, I've been packing up, and I wrote on here, just keep packing, because that is stressful. Watched my grandkids yesterday morning for my daughter to go vote, to go renew her driver's license and to vote. And I'm documenting. The only courage that matters is the kind that gets you from one moment to the next. Mignon McLaughlin. And I think that's where I'm at with things, is that the Hobonichi may or may not end up my planner for 2021. It may end up part planner, part this. I may end up doing more of this in the journal. I may switch things around because I've got, this is the whole cousin. I've got the AVEC for next year along with a notebook. And so this may end up being more planning pages with little doodles. Like you see, I've gotten bigger. Like I was doing like littler things. But I think that depends. It really just depends. You know, she drinks pints of coffee and writes little observations and ideas for stories with her best fountain pen on the linen white pages of expensive notebooks. Sometimes, when it's going badly, she wonders if what she believes to be a love of the written word is really just a fetish for stationery. David Nichols. And I thought that that's pretty appropriate for right now, like with what's going on with me. I do love writing. I do have a fetish for stationery, however. I do love art. I do love the combination of art and words. As we go through the rest of this year, and as I do things, I think the weekly may end up being my to-dos. Where I write my actual to-dos down and do that, and then do the journaling here, because I'm now doing a word for the day, erudite, having or showing knowledge. I'm doing the weather, so I may make a place right up here for my word for the day, to learn a new word every day. For the weather, the moon is usually on these pages. Sometimes it's a little bit different because this is Japanese. But I think that as I go through, it may change. I don't know. I am having fun. And I'm actually doing more of I'm doing this stuff here, like I talked about, like, where's the barn? I'm going to watercolor this. And then this is where I wrote about my thoughts about what I wanted to say in this video. So I'm sort of doing a combination of things. And that feels really good to me. It's all about doing what feels right at the moment and letting things sort of grow. Just, you know, working on things. I made us brunch, so that's a piece of Italian homemade bread with mozzarella cheese and then a fried egg, and I put tomato on mine. This was dinner. The leaves are starting to change colors. I had coffee with David. I had coffee with David. I didn't have coffee with David this morning. I didn't wake up in time. But I didn't go to sleep until later. So I like where this is going. And that's what November is. The setup. Let's go to the calendar. Here's my calendar for November. And this is this week's pages. And this is next week's pages. I have some things already labeled. Like, I think Thursdays are going to be my live days where I go live at like 4 o'clock. I have some birthdays labeled. And I have my squirrel and acorn washi tape. And I'm doing a little bit of weekly tracking right here. Just kind of trying to figure things out. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do an index with these pages or do tracking. I think I'm going to do the index. I'm going to go through the pages and write things down because I like doing the journaling in the Hobonichi. I always have. I just always felt like I needed more than 1 day per page. But now I realize that I have a sketchbook for the other things, and I have the journal and the sketchbook in one traveler's notebook. And then I also have the spiritual / personal, which has the planner where I keep my mom's information in and my self-care and stuff like that. And then I'm also doing my spiritual practice stuff in here. So that's what I'm using right now. Hope that you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching, y'all.